The press reported this week that our Summer Olympic athletes are going to be wearing uniforms made in China. And the press went on to say that our legislatures are furious. I did watch a short video clip of Senator Harry Reid, and he states that he is very upset. And he went on to say that the Ralph Lauren people should be ashamed. Nancy Pelosi calmly stated that she thinks our athletes should be wearing uniforms made in the USA. Well, I feel your pain, guys. And by the way, nice press releases. They should play very well during the re-election campaigns. And it's always good to point the finger of blame elsewhere. And it's always good to wave the red, white, and blue. Yep, those Ralph Lauren folks, they're thoughtless, they're callous. Well, I guess that is understandable. They are part of that wicked corporate America that we need to get under government control. It really would be one thing if this were a small nation with no manufacturing infrastructure. We had to import Olympic uniforms. But wow, this is a huge nation with an enormous wealth of resources to draw on. Yet Ralph Lauren is importing these uniforms from an adversarial nation. I don't know about you, but I think the word embarrassing crosses my mind. However, our national press, with their short video clip culture, fails to take this story to the next level, much less anything like an in-depth analysis. I'm waiting for someone out there to ask the question why. Why are we importing uniforms for an event that begs national pride? And why does Ralph Lauren manufacture in China in the first place? And by the way, it isn't just Olympic uniforms. It's everything on the rack, from Macy's to Walmart. Why don't they have plants here in the USA? Wouldn't that be helping to ease the unacceptable unemployment rate that we have here? Well, if we want to look at the answers to those questions, we have to go back. Let's take a look back at the sordid history of the textile industry here in the United States. Go back a century or more and look at the abusive working conditions. Take a look at what that brought. Look at the efforts of the unions and the other worker advocate programs that brought those squalid and deplorable conditions to an end. Next step, the government got involved. Examine how the government regulations laid down rules to protect workers and control the greedy, thoughtless industrialists. And let's look at the positive side too. There was a point in the mid-20th century when there was balance. The textile industry was profitable, and yet the workers made a dignified and acceptable living. Let's move on a little further now. The government was on a roll. There were more regulations appearing, more control, more rules, more restrictions, and oh yeah, more taxes. All of those things benefited whom? Well, the workers. And there were lots of them, and many of them were voters. Somewhere, we crossed that invisible line. Ralph Lauren and just about every other textile player took their manufacturing to China, India, Brazil, Malaysia, and a whole host of other third world nations where those nasty 19th century working conditions are alive and well. Where do we point the finger of blame here? How about right back at us? Yep, those of us who happily purchased those sweatshop-made goods without a second thought. Those deplorable conditions are out of sight and out of mind. Do we think about 80-hour weeks, grueling conditions, child laborers? Or do we just think about, I want it, and it's cheap. Well, I am a hopeless optimist, and I would like to think that given a choice, a good portion of us would choose made in the USA. But there's a big problem here. Keyword, choice. Can you really blame us if there's no choice? Well, maybe that fickle finger of blame needs to look for another target. Let's take another look at those regulations, those over-the-top OSHA standards, and oh yes, those taxes. Take a look at what that has brought. Could a textile manufacturer compete here in this country successfully with those third world sweatshops as their competition? I ask you, what do you think? Could they do it? Could it be you, Harry Reid, and you, Nancy Pelosi, and all of your cohorts in Washington that are truly the cause of this uniforms made in China controversy? Could it be that in your frenzy to buy votes and in your hunger to feed your power addiction, that you have forced those industries to run off to foreign lands to set up their manufacturing in order to survive? A century ago, the industrialists had to let go of their control to survive. My question here, is it time for our government to let go of some of their power so that we can all survive? Isn't there a balance that we can find to make this country strong, prosperous, peaceful, and return us to our glory? Wouldn't leading by example make the whole world a better place? It has in the past. Anyway, good luck to our Olympians. You know what? I wonder where those medals are made. Anybody know?